be fun. We're going to chat a little bit about the long night. We're going to go really deep into that special report from Max Berenstein, who's going to be apparently doing the Empire of Ash. And we're all going to hang out. It's going to be awesome. We're going to talk about some Thrones prequels. We got some other things to talk about, and we're gonna do some shout outs in the chat to start off. And let's see, we got the original David Adams, who is my original mod on the channel. So shout outs to you, David Adams. We got Karina, what's going on? Chrissy of Oldstone, Kingslayer Wifey, Chris Weinberger, Robert Tapia Forrest. We got Mackenzie Burns, another fellow Canadian. We got Cece, who's one of the newer members of the Hype and Love family. Neonor, thank you for joining. Amy Collins Russell, one of my favorites. Scotty, Kate Costa, Pamela Barnes, Mia of Ice and Fire, who I'm actually going to visit in Orlando. We got Laura, Michael Smith from Australia. We have Justin L. We have Blackthorn, Mama Ogre, Stephanie Marshall, Misty. Oh my goodness. Emmanuel Pantoja. We have Sarah P, and I'm sure we'll have we have Maura Lee with the pre-stream donation. Again, Maura Lee has been super generous. We're gonna do we did something a little special for her. I sent her and I drink and I hype things mug up to Maura. But today, what we're gonna do, and I'm sure there's Anissa, there's some more people coming in the chat. Today, we're gonna take a look at that special report on Wiki, and we're gonna kind of just go through everything for the Empire of Ash, and then later we'll take some Q&A questions, and we'll talk about the long night. And I thought it would be cool because we got a long way to go until Game of Thrones season 8. That we would talk about the prequel a little bit more. The news kind of came out a couple weeks ago, and I thought it'd be really fun today to kind of get some of that hype going again. Pardon me, my allergies are a little bit messed up today, so you might hear me with a scratchy throat and whatnot. So I got some water here. All right, O'Hara, another fellow Canadian. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm actually going to screen cap this. So you're going to have to miss my beautiful hair for a little bit, but we are going to read all of this together, and we're kind of going to just go through this and take a look at everything. I will pop back through chat as much as I can to check for donations if you guys give donations or questions or anything like that. But we're going to read the report. We're going to kind of go through everything together. All right, so let's go screen share. Let's go do that. And thanks again, Maura, for the donation. Really, really appreciate that. We actually have, before we go, we got 2 new patrons of the channel. We're going to shout those out before we go right into thing here. We're at 117 now, which is awesome. I have the number wrong, 645. But we have 2 new members of the Patreon family, Sarah K and Delana. Thank you so much for joining Patreon. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to screen cap, and we're gonna go check out this special report. All right, so we're going to scroll up here, and this is the apparent leak of the Empire of Ash prequel for Game of Thrones. It says a special report from Game of Thrones wiki administrator and keeper of the lore user The Dragon Demands. I believe The Dragon Demands does have a YouTube channel, so go check them out as well. They do like news and stuff and whatnot, so go check them out. If anybody can find the link, you can put it in the description of or the chat box if you would like. It says, I was recently contacted by a tipster with knowledge of the 4 potential Game of Thrones prequels to HBO. I sworn to total secrecy and only got a tantalizing glimpse of some of the extensive written materials, which are not in my possession. Based on what I've seen, the creators of this prequel, Max Borenstein of Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, and possibly others, have relied extensively on fan-made wikis such as ours as guides to storyverse and world build, which made me really excited and hopeful about the care that went into the details of the world. So we talked about Friday, the potential of these prequels, being a little bit concerned that they weren't going to follow the lore of the series, and how, a lot of people are concerned because the show Game of Thrones, as the seasons went on, veered away from some of the source material from the books. So that's going to happen when you have 2 different mediums of storytelling. And so here's the big picture of it. The title of this prequel series is called The Empire of Ash. It is about the events leading up to the doom of Valyria, the massive volcanic super eruption which destroyed the Valyrian freehold in a single day. It is also the story about the origins of the House Targaryen, a minor family of dragon lords in Old Valyria who rose to prominence by fleeing to Westeros just before the doom, leaving them the world's only living dragons. The story centers on the decline and the fall of Valyria, a colonial empire which ruled half of the known world, and it reveals the socio-economic and political crises which took apart the empire from within. So, similarly to how we're seeing what's going on within Westeros, the Seven Kingdoms, everything's devolving politically and socially. So the scope says the Empire of Ash seems to be planned out or to last 5 seasons or more. That's really hype, everyone. And it's not just a short one special or something, it's another full TV series. Similar to Game of Thrones and Song of Ice and Fire novels, different political factions intriguing against each other with a larger magical threat looming over the end game. So very, very interesting. So I'm going to stop screen sharing just for a second, just so I can pop back in the chat. But it's really interesting. They are saying that this is going to be more of a politically driven story, which is really interesting. Some people are concerned about that. I'm not. I'm actually really intrigued by this. George R. R. Martin has stated that Valyria, ancient Valyria, is like the Roman Empire or very similar to that. So for me, that is pretty exciting. And House Targaryen being a minor house is also very exciting. So we don't really know a lot about the other dragon lords and all of that. Obviously, it says there's a magical element of it. We got the 14 fires, which we spoke about. The 14 fires being the 14 different volcanoes, possibly, that went off during the Doom of Valyria. So there's all of these different things that we kind of have to look at. And to me, like this is just as exciting as the Game of Thrones Long Night prequel, which has actually started filming. We're going to talk a little bit about that. They're filming the pilot already, so that's some pretty exciting news. But I know a lot of people would have preferred this one to be the first one, the Doom of Valyria, again, the first ancient Targaryen histories way back when there's the Giscari Empire and Southaros and Yen and Valyria and all of that. So we're going to go back to screen sharing. I just figured I'd pop back into chat. I like to pop back as much as possible. When you screen share, you go back to chat, and it's like pretty chaotic. So let's go back to the report here. And thank you, Carol Brown. I see you in chat. Nice to see you. Let's go screen share here. And we'll go back here. So let's go back to the themes. Now, so here are the apparent themes of the Empire of Ash. Valeris Lenton Jatas. Valyrians go home. Streak of Fury in Conquered Marine. George R. R. Martin has said that Valyria is like the Roman Republic, like we talked about, with dragons. And a major focus on this prequel is on diversity as it deals with issues of immigration, naturalization, and cultural identity, all within a multi-ethnic democratic state. So obviously there's Summer Islanders, and there's going to be, obviously things that are going on in this particular region of the world are going to have more of a melting ethnic pot. So that's ethnic melting pot, should I say. The central conflict that kicks off the series is what does it mean to be Valyrian and who gets to share in the power and prestige. So according to a summary and documents, the story addresses the themes of a free republic in decline, the fallout of military and cultural imperialism, colonialism, immigration, and racial diversity. So definitely a lot going on there. And apparently, it says right here, did I mention there are dragons, lots of dragons, hundreds of dragons. So it is said that if these prequels, it has been said by HBO that if these prequels do start out, they're going to start off with the budget of the third season of a Game of Thrones, at least the first one, Game of Thrones, The Long Night is for 10 episode season. They're sticking with the 10 episode format. Apparently, that's the rumor, and that's pretty awesome. Obviously Game of Thrones has 115, 120 million a season now, and they spread that out as best they can. We're getting longer episodes, but this is definitely something that is going to be really interesting to see how they pull off the CGI budget and whatnot, because dragons are expensive to do, and if it's going to be a little bit more in the background. But if he's saying hundreds of dragons, then they're really going to go all full out with the CGI. So diversity, something like a third to half of the cast are non-white characters. Multiple members of the primary cast, it says, explicitly instructs this in their casting sheets. Very interesting. This also extends the diversity of female and LGBTQ characters, some of whom are also in the core cast members. So, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, people who are both genders, and more. And I think, obviously, one of my favorite all-time characters is Oberyn Martell. He ranks in my top 5 all time, and he did. Pedro Pascal did a wonderful job in the show, I think, as well. I think it's better to have. I mean, I know some people won't agree with me on this, but it's better not to have the cookie cutter. It's better not to just have some cookie cutter like toxic masculinity characters all the time. It's nice to have people that cut into that and have different diverse views, like people from Dorne, like Oberyn Martell. So that is definitely very interesting that they want to include that as well. Something like a third of half of the cast of this prequel is actually set in Southaros, which is awesome. George R. R. Martin's fantasy version of Africa, mentioned in the Song of Ice and Fire. Southaros and Valyria are the two biggest axes around which the show revolves, the tension between the capital city and provinces. So that's really awesome. So Roman North Africa, and they're kind of saying like, Southaros is kind of like a mix of Carthage and Constantinople. And if anybody knows about history in the Punic Wars and all that which went on, that's very interesting. So maybe we'll have some sort of comparisons with that. That's most of the characters. There are non-white. According to the casting calls, they are looking for variously African, Asian, or other groups, very mixed melting pot port city. So it's going to be a port city. I believe is Yin, if I'm not mistaken. One of the main characters, a POV cast member, is a platinum blonde black female dragon rider. One of her parents was white Valyrian, the other a foreigner, leading to some to deny that she's actually a real Valyrian. So that would be a wow. I wonder who they would pick for that. So basically a black female version of Daenerys. One of the main casting characters is a self-made former slave, a deceptively matronly looking Asian woman in her 50s, one of the richest citizens in the world, but also a major political leader and government intrigue player. So that seems like it might be like a Queen of Thorns type of character, which is really interesting to me. So I would this is if this is actually real, and we can't confirm this, but I mean, imagine a Valyrian, like platinum blonde hair, like major badass dragon rider, a platinum blonde black haired woman. That would be badass. I think I would love that, and hopefully she would be a badass. Well, I mean, if she's a dragon rider, she's got to be badass. And it's very cool that there will be like kind of more Asian culture, more Eastern culture, and they're going to dive more into that Eastern culture that we hear talked about so much, in Essos and whatnot. So there will be some kind of trickle down effect, I think, and it'll be really interesting that Southaros, something that we don't know a lot about, will be explored as well, kind of their culture and what's going on over there. So we're gonna get back. I'm just gonna check the chat, see if there's any questions right now. Is everybody enjoying? You guys don't mind me reading it out? I thought it would be cool if we all read it out together and kind of just went over all the points. Everyone's having a good time so far? Let's get some hype in chat if everyone's having a good time right now. Let me know, and if you guys want me to continue and go over the report. We shall continue to go over the report if everybody's cool with that. All right, so we will continue. I'm going to go back to the report here. 1 second. Let's get back to screen capping again. Screen share. All right, making sound effects for it. So here's a special bit about House Targaryen. House Targaryen concept art already exists for the 3 rival political factions in Valyria: the Sphinxes, awesome, the Young Dragons, and the Freeholders. The Targaryen may be a minor family of the Young Dragons, but I cannot confirm. So it looks like the Sphinxes are going to be a major faction. We know the Giscari Empire is around, so that's pretty interesting. But the Freeholders, Young Dragons, and the Sphinxes. So I only got a brief and blurry look at the artwork of their war banner. It's a dragon of some kind. Okay. Aenar Targaryen and his daughter Daenerys the Dreamer are also characters, but I don't know if they are introduced in season 1. So that's pretty crazy, because Aenar Targaryen, him and Daenerys the Dreamer, they fled to Dragonstone. Daenerys the Dreamer was the one who foresaw the doom of Valyria, and they actually took off. And then I believe it was 15 years later the Doom of Valyria happened. I can't remember if that's the exact date, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. Daenerys the Dreamer was the one who foretold the Doom of Valyria in her visions. World building. All right, here's this prequel puts on a massive amount of work into world building, fleshing out the lost Atlantis like civilization. I'd like to hear that. I'm told religious scholar Reza Aslan, author of Zealot, The Life and Time of Jesus of Nazareth, was brought in, whether as a consultant or writer, I can't say, but they're definitely trying to impact the religion world building aspect of the show, The Empire of Ash. Gender and sexuality is also something that will receive a lot of world building. Apparently, in the series, Valyrians don't take issue with homosexuality. One of the leaders of the conservative Sphinx faction is publicly in a homosexual relationship, and no one thinks it's particularly unusual. So, in ancient Greece and Rome, there was homosexuality. There's no doubt about it, especially in ancient Greece. There's many stories about this, and it wasn't particularly frowned upon. There was a lot of that going on. Series Bibles. Wow. So there's multiple series Bibles. While I don't have access to these documents on an ongoing basis, I was shown 2 documents amounting to the extensive series Bibles. Yes, Bibles plural. These are the first season 1. The first of these is a season 1 script outline, 10 episodes. Yes, over 200 pages in length. And these are not finished teleplays with dialogue, but they're more than just generalized notes. It's basically a scene-by-scene guide for the entire season. So that's incredibly exciting. The fact that they're like basically already got all of this done. But that isn't even the series Bible. That's the season 1 outline. As for the series Bible, we'll lend to the term jaw-dropping too casually. When I glimpsed this document, it looked like a second volume of the World of Ice and Fire. I mean, literally, you could walk into a bookstore and find it ready on this for sale on the shelf. The entire thing is fully illustrated, professional quality illustrations. Some of them were maps I recognized from wikis, others, particularly the characters and location artwork. It looks like they must have had secretly hired major artists who did the world book for the Song of Ice and Fire calendars to do the new concept arc. Wow, that's pretty crazy. So they is fully illustrated as well. So much like the World of Ice and Fire, it has drawings. Apparently about 100 copies current exist, which if true, makes it more even insane that this was kept secret for so long. So there has been a lot of people working on this project. Apparently 100 copies of these Bibles. That means a lot of people are involved in this project, everyone. Which is very encouraging that they've taken so much care into the world building and whatnot. There was even a new map in pre-Doom Valyria. Ooh, give me that right now, please. I want it in the style of Lands of Ice and Fire. So posters, they do that. They're beautiful. I don't know if anyone has ever had those. I had them before in my old apartment when I was living in Ottawa. They were beautiful. I don't know if they photoshopped it from a general or outright hired the original Lands artist, but it looked close enough to what was done before. And of course, you know, I'm one of these people who writes up encyclopedia info for a wiki here. So when I saw the secret unreleased internal series Bible, yeah, so it just apparently it's just absolutely stunning the amount of work and concept and visualization and world building this went into it. So apparently his first reaction was like people were like locked in a room for 2 years with a copy of World of Ice and Fire and then like researched that and then recreated it basically for this show. So I don't know. That's really crazy. You know, I have a personal theory about this. You know, The Walking Dead, they have the main show, The Walking Dead, which is heading into season 9. You know, the show isn't as good as it used to be. I'm not as big of a fan as I was in the earlier season. Like the first 4 or 5 seasons were really good. Not on the level of Thrones or anything. But they made another show called Fear the Walking Dead, and that has gotten better as the seasons have went on. And they've had it at 2 different times in the year. So, you know, they split up Walking Dead into 2 8-season episodes. So they have a mid-season, you know, break for 2.5 months, and then they come back after the winter in February or March, and then they have Fear the Walking Dead in the summertime, and they do like I think 7 or 8 episodes each. So Walking Dead is on a lot of the year, so there's not as big of a break with the show. Now I could see Game of Thrones: The Long Night, the one with Jane Goldman, that one being the first one done, because that one seems to be the one that's being filmed, and then them making, you know, The Empire of Ash and then having 10 episodes of Thrones 2 different points of the year. That would be insane. I know some people are kind of not about that, but Are you kidding me? Giving me 2 Thrones shows a year? Some people say it would water down Thrones. I don't think so. If they are truly talking about it like this guy is in this wiki, then I am super stoked and hyped about that. Original David Adams with the comment of the day so far. They need to get Urtach Altanaz on the art. I couldn't agree more on that. More Thrones. So Carol, okay, let's get a consensus in chat. How many people would be down for Thrones twice a year? Game of Thrones The Long Night and Game of Thrones The Empire of Ash. And, one in the spring, one more towards winter. And then we have 4-month breaks in between or something like that. Okay, so if you're hyped for that, if you want Thrones twice a year, put fire emojis in the chat. If you don't, put sad faces, because that's sad if you don't want that. Urtach is in the chat, by the way, everyone. So if you want Thrones twice a year, fire in the chat. Okay, I see. There's pizza and beer there, Travis. Thank you. I wish I had some of that. I think it's overwhelmingly going to be fire, and then sad emojis if you only want Thrones once a year. Okay, I don't think we're getting one sad face. Wow. So consensus. Peter Griffin's only frowning because he wants it all year long. So I don't. And that would mean more hanging out for all of us, and that would maybe mean more conventions and stuff like that. Oh my god. The plans for this channel, I announced the other day that I will be doing a second YouTube channel for Marvel, me and George. But imagine the things that I could go film for you guys and whatnot, and take Tripodric out with me. They get interviews and all that sort of stuff. So mostly everyone is really hype about that. We're not sure, Kyle. I don't know if we all agree. Yeah, right. That was 99% there. Oversaturated the desire. I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna go back. There's still a little bit to the actual wiki here. We're gonna go check the rest out. Development process. According to the source I spoke with, while several potential prequels are in development at HBO, the 2 frontrunners projects are Jane Goldman's The Long Night and Max Borenstein's The Empire of Ash. This isn't to say HBO will discard the other pitches. They're stating that they see this as a Star Wars scale franchise and are planning it out in advance. So everyone, wow, it looks like Game of Thrones is going to be a franchise that's going to continue for probably the next 2 decades. Consider how many years in advance we heard about anthology movies like Rogue One or Solo. That's really encouraging for us Throne fans, especially for me too, as I want to continue to do YouTube and hang out with you guys all the time. So that's awesome. Moreover, based on what I've heard, Borenstein prequel is surprisingly close to beginning production. Wow. Okay, cool. That's really amazing. Apparently, Miguel Sapochnik, oh my god, is attached to the pilot episode of The Empire of Ash. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, he's my favorite director. He's the one who directed The Winds of Winter, Hard Home, The Watchers on the Wall, also The Battle of the Bastards. Oh my god. I just creamed my pants. I'm unsure why or how a prequel could get this far in development without HBO spreading any news about it. So these are the 2 front runners, everyone, and the series Bible exists, is that's what they're saying, and this series, it sounds like this needs to get fully picked up. So that's basically the Empire of Ash, everyone, the information that we have on it. And I don't know about all of you, but holy crap, I am excited. I definitely just creamed, like Miguel Sapochnik, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, or Miguel Sapochnik, him being attached to the pilot of the Empire of, they can't fail. That guy is gasoline when it comes to directing. John St. Baptiste, going to push the start button on that donation train. Thank you so much, my man. Really appreciate that. Also, again, thank you to Maura Lee for the donation earlier. So we have a question from Ogre. How hyped am I for Dragon Con? I am extremely hyped for Dragon Con. I don't know if you can hear that in my voice. The fact that we even got press passes for Dragon Con is huge. There was a 70% increase in people that applied this year. Last year, we actually booked our flights to Dragon Con and our hotel. And Lena Headey, we had an interview with Cersei Lannister. That's right. She canceled like literally 4 or 5 hours after we booked our flight and hotel. This year, we didn't think we were going to get invited back because we didn't have a ton of coverage last year. We just didn't have a lot of interviews. But we did. We got press passes. Luke Cage, Mike Coulter's going to be there. And with the announcement Friday that I'm starting a second YouTube channel with George called Marvelous. Like Marvelous because we're marvelous. And, you know, there's Evangeline Lilly from, it's going to be amazing. I'm going to be cosplaying probably as Tormund and going to interview people with a microphone. George is going to have the camera and stuff. I also really want to cosplay as maybe like Deadpool or something and walk around and interview cosplayers. We're going to be doing 5 full days of coverage. We're going to be like doing live streams from there and all sorts of stuff, guys and gals. Yeah, I'm really excited for Dragon Con. And by the way, 20 days until I go to Worldcon to go see George R.R. Martin speak in person. And we're going to be 10 rows from George R.R. Martin speaking in person. Me, George, Angie, a friend of ours, Kat, who came and chilled with us at Con of Thrones. And yeah, we're freaking, I mean, to go see George chat live. And apparently, if you're close enough, like in the first 15 rows, you can go ask questions. So that's why we got seats in the first 10 rows. So maybe I might be able to ask George R.R. Martin a question, Mama Ogre. Thank you very, very much for that question. But yeah, so more conventions. I don't know if those will be the last 2 conventions that I attend this year, but a lot of money is spent on these. So we'll see. Maybe there's some more. I do depending on when Game of Thrones season 8 comes out. I definitely want to go to Croatia and Iceland and film and vlog there for you guys before season 8 starts. But if not, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Long may she reign. Catherine Bassett. Will you get super chats in time for Dragon Con, or shall we go to the GoFundMe? Actually, I will. I get so basically every month I get paid on the 21st, but it takes 2 or 3 days to get into my bank account. So I get paid on the 21st to the 24th of every month. So yes, if you do donate, I actually get paid I get paid one more time this month and then one more time next month before Dragon Con. So all the stuff that is going through now will go toward. So the cutoff date is, I believe, the 11th of next month, August. The cutoff is for super chats and donations and stuff like that. It's like August of next month for YouTube. So yes, if anybody makes donations, it does go into my next paycheck. And every single dollar is going towards flights, hotels, all that sort of stuff for Dragon Con and Worldcon. All going back into the channel so we can create more content and grow this into something even bigger and better. No Con of Thrones news yet, CC, but they said the next couple months. So I mean, it shouldn't be too much longer. They usually have something out by now. Melissa B. Let's put Melissa B on the wall of hype. Let's do that. Let's get our first person up here today. Melissa, thank you very much. I'm going to put a smiley face there for your donation. Yeah, Con of Thrones will be probably announced after LeakyCon. But what I'm going to do, everyone, is I would like it to open it up to questions about the Empire of Ash and what we just talked about. And then we can kind of talk a little bit about the Long Night, Jane Goldman's Long Night, towards the end of the stream. Oh, also, by the way, everyone, for those of you that do like to watch Vikings, me and King McKay, right after this live stream, are going to record a podcast, which will be released over the next couple of days. And we're going to talk about the San Diego Comic-Con trailer for Vikings for the next half of the season that we'll be releasing in November. So King McKay and me will be collabing. We're going to do a little podcast for you. It's probably going to be 2 parts. We're going to split up into a couple parts. And yeah, me and King McKay are going to be hanging out after and doing a collaboration on Vikings. Otilla! Let's get Otilla on the wall. Thank you very much for that donation, Otilla. We really appreciate that. The hype and love. Long live Ivar the Boneless. Yes. I have no idea when LeakyCon is. But chat, open it up to questions, Q&A time. Let's discuss the Empire of Ash. Otilla, long may she reign. So yeah, we'll be releasing the video here. One half on my channel and probably one half on King McKay's channel. Do you think we will have a few bigger names in Empire of Ash Long Night like we did Game of Thrones? Mackenzie, that's a great question. I think that now that Game of Thrones has the prestige that it does, and it's going to be, I mean, a lot of these franchises, a lot of these shows that are coming out, they're trying to set them up as franchises. A Game of Thrones is just something that is so compelling and interesting that they can set it up like a Star Wars. I mean, there's just so much in the world. You know what I mean? So, yes, I do think that there will be some big name actors and whatnot. Cece, we'll put you on the wall of hype. Thank you so much. But to answer your question, Mackenzie, yes, I do think there will be some bigger name actors. I mean, looking for this one, they had Charles Dance, they had Sean Bean. I mean, obviously people like Maisie Williams, Kit Harington, Sophie Turner, they were very young and they didn't have the prestige that some of these other main actors did. Lena Headey had been in 300 and other stuff, so she was another one. But yes, I absolutely do think that they will have some people picked out for specific roles, like the Peter Dinklages, like the Lena Headey's, Charles Dance, the Sean Beans. Those were specifically picked out for specific characters in the show. Rolo is coming back, actually. He's in the trailer. Q&A, O'Hara. How many years? Oh, my goodness. Catherine just made a £50 donation. 50 pound, is that 50 pounds or 50 UK dollars? Oh, my goodness. Catherine. Catherine goes right up here at the top. Oh my goodness. Oh crap. Oh my God. Carol. Oh crap. There's a donation train. And Travis. Ah! Wow. Hype. 50 squid. Catherine, let me know if you have a question. My goodness. Q&A, we'll get to these questions. Stephanie, when do you think we will see the Empire of Ash starting filming? It says it's pretty close to production. I mean, they've already started with the Long Night pilot. So maybe like, 4 or 5 months, maybe, something like that. I don't know. It takes quite a long time to film a pilot. Thank you so much. Wow, Carol, Catherine, everyone today is so generous. Thank you so much. Carol has a question. Do you think enough Game of Thrones foundation has been built for the new Game of Thrones series to run for a long while? Yeah, I do think so. I mean, George has in his mind and in written somewhere at least, Bran the Builder, the Wall, the conceptualization of all of that, the Children of the Forest, the White Walkers history, especially for the Long Night one. I mean, they're gonna go back in time and kind of discover, we've been lied to about some of the histories in the Song of Ice and Fire. So, but I do think so. Yeah, Carol. I mean, as long as George keeps on writing, obviously, he's not a spring chicken, but I think there's a lot. And and I think that, seeing George has set up, himself for, I mean, he's supremely famous now. Like I said, he's not a spring chicken, but they can use this series and, whoever he leaves this to, they're going to have so much. I mean, I bet there's an unimaginable amount of documentation that George has in the series that can just be used and made into movies and television and all of that. So, and right now, I'm sure he's doing consultations and all of that with these people. I mean, it seems like, at least in the beginning of A Game of Thrones, that was happening with Dave and Dan and George and all of that. So that's exciting. right? The fact that George is involved early in these processes, not as much as you might think. George did state that he's not like producing or anything like that, but he has had conversations, obviously, because this is his work. So yes, to answer your question, Carol, yeah, I think so. I mean, just listen to what we talked about earlier in the documentation in the Empire of Ash. 2 Bibles the size of the World of Ice and Fire. That is incredibly uh, exciting to me. Travis LaBelle, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Jensen, for some fish tacos and some beer in Cali. Hell yeah, I will put Jensen up here. Thank you very much. Let's show some love in the chat for Jensen. Did you have a question, Jensen? Let me know. Oh, don't be sorry, Leia. You're not late. What's Catherine's request? Am I missing it? I have to scroll up here to read. What was Catherine's request? What's for the one with the white hair from Jerem's beard? I'm confused right now. Oh God. Yeah, Peter Griffin, Jensen did. I'm going to California, San Jose to see George R. Martin in person, literally in less than 3 weeks. So she wants one of George R. Martin's beard hairs. Okay, I didn't get it. I feel awful because I didn't get the joke, like punchline. Sundays are great days to hang out. Yeah, before the stream started, actually, I want to kind of bring something up. Someone had a great comment, and they said, you know, Rayanne is so supportive of the channel. Thank you so much, Rayanne. Yeah, she's constantly retweeting stuff and sharing stuff, and very, very excited and hyped, like most of you are. And she said, Maura Lee made a $24.99 donation pre-stream, and Rayanne said, hey, Kyle, YouTube does take a percentage of it, like 25% of super chats. So I always try to make this aware to everyone, for anyone that's donating. Most of you that donate do know this. But she said, hey, donate to the GoFundMe so Kyle can get more, because the GoFundMe only gets 5%. And I wanted to say first and foremost, when I started this, it wasn't because of money. My back was hurt. I mean, I couldn't work. I was like literally just looking for an outlet to not go crazy. And of course, as time went on, and I made connections with people and met so many of you, I've been really lucky and blessed and fortunate to be in this position now where I can have a platform to do this. But I want to let everyone know that first and foremost, the thing that I enjoy most, and it's not the money, is the connection and the friends that I've made, and the unbreakable bonds that I've made with people, like lifetime friendships that I know that I will have. And you don't have to support the channel by just donating. You can like a video. You can just watch the video and not comment. You can comment. You can join the live chat and get hype. You can just be a part of the community, and that is just as important. So I know some people like, sorry, Kyle, I can't donate. Don't ever apologize to me for that. Don't have to. So just wanted to make that clear to everyone. I'm pretty sure all of you know, but there's people out there that will say differently, and that's fake news. Oh, Harry Young. Was there any Dragons of Ashai? If so, how many years ago? Yeah, good question. I can't answer that one. Maybe there's a different type of dragon there too. I mean, different types of regions breed different things. We see natural selection and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, we know that dragons were mostly from Valyria. I mean, well, that's what it states in history. I mean, there could be dragons elsewhere, but I don't know, honestly, about that one. Hey, Leia, nice to see you. You just like watching my nice hair. I know. That's but yeah, O'Hara, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it really depends. There is not a lot of information about Ashai. It doesn't look like there's a lot of life there, quotation marks, but it could be. There could be. I mean, but I mean, mainly volcanoes, fire. I mean, ice, White Walker magic, north of the wall. I don't know. It's just seems to be like distinct magic in distinct areas of the world. Um, any leaks of the long night filming yet? No. And there's just been honestly just notes about how they're starting to do the pilot. Carol says also becoming a patron helps him because the YouTube demonetizations and the change in ads can be challenging for content creators. Support your favorites and getting content. So yeah, I do Patreon as well. There's a lot of you here that are already patrons of the channel, and basically what it is you sign up for a monthly donation, and you can like donate $1 or here 1 second. I'll show so everybody knows because Carol is kind enough to make that comment, so I'll share and. So here's Patreon. So Patreon here. So basically, what it is you can become a patron of the channel and you get bonus content. Like so, if you become a $1 patron, you get like special access to polls and stuff like that. For 2, you get a shout out. 5, you get early access to my audio of my videos. 10, early access to actual videos. $20, you get a permanent spot on the wall of hype if you donate $20 a month on Patreon, and then there's others. It scales up, but basically, and you can quit at any time. But basically, Patreon is just like because right now only people who have 100,000 subscribers get sponsors or can apply to get sponsors, where you can pay $4.99 to subscribe to the channel. Obviously, we have super chats, and you guys donate through that, but Patreon is like I want to say like 30-40% of the money at least I make. That helps me go to different events and stuff like that. So obviously, Patreon, you can donate any dollar a month starting from $1. And what it does is you get like special bonus, like footage and all sorts of stuff, like entries into special Patreon only giveaways and bonus content, podcast content from me and Gemma, from me myself, like early script access, that kind of stuff. And it's a really cool way too, because like I'm not saying the Patreon community is different than the one we have from the live chat or the actual channel, but it is really cool because like there is it's like having a stake in the channel, and it's really cool. And for people that want to feel like part of that, having a stake in the channel and supporting in that way, it's a really cool interaction, honestly. And all sorts of people use Patreon, like comic book artists, musicians, not just YouTubers, people who are doing video games, like startup video games and stuff like that. So it's a really cool platform, and it's really interactive. So thanks for that, Carol. Really appreciate that. Let's read Emilio here. The whole world was spread out below him in a tapestry of white, brown, and green. Saw clear across the narrow sea into the free cities and the green Dothraki Sea, and beyond to vast Dothrak under. Its mountain, to the fabled lands of the Jade Sea, to a shy by the shadow, where the dragon stirred beneath the sunrise. This is from Bran's first magical dream. Yeah, I love that dream. One of my favorites. Q&A, Chris Weinberger. Do you think they'd be extra cruel by having Jon reunite with his siblings, maybe before the Army of the Dead? I don't think that's cruel. I mean, I think that has to happen. It's necessary. I mean, if we don't get Arya and Jon, my goodness, I will riot. Someone will have a big bag of flaming poo on their doorstep. Honestly, I probably wouldn't do that. I don't like poo, but yeah. So thank you for the question, Chris. But I don't think it's cruel, no. Jon not reunite, my bad. Yeah, that would be super cruel if it's not reuniting. Sorry, I read the question wrong. That would suck. Ugh, that would be super cruel. Yeah, I don't see that happening at all, though. The GoFundMe donations don't show up like super chats, but I still announce them. So like I have my email open, and whenever someone makes a donation, I announce them live on air, Carol. What will Arya say to Gendry? I don't know. I think they're gonna have a good laugh. I think they're gonna have a pint, like they're gonna have a beer or something together and have a bite to eat. I don't know. I'm hoping that Hot Pie reunites with them in Winterfell and becomes the chef in Winterfell. But I think they're gonna. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be really friendly. They're gonna be happy to see each other. That they're still alive. I mean, Gendry was being hunted, and so is Arya. So, I mean, I think that it's gonna be an awesome interaction. There's gonna be a lot of what people are gonna say is fan service in season 8. I don't see it that way. I think it's just gonna be all around awesomeness. I don't think they're going to end up together romantically, though. If that's what you're suggesting, I think that they will have like a friendship and bond together that they will reconnect. Aaron says, "Do you think Jamie will confess once he sees Bran? Bran's definitely going to cut him off, like you're saying, and I think that I think he's just going to say, I think your role is important. I've seen it in the Weird Net," and Jamie's going to be like, "What the fuck?" And he's going to be all freaked out. And yeah, that's going to be that's one of the interactions that I'm most secretly looking forward to because it's going to be really awkward. I mean, Jamie did try to kill him, so we will see. Casey, will we see a white Hodor? 100%. Yes, we're going to see Hodor. They're definitely, I mean, I think they're going to bring back a bunch of fan favorites. I think we might even see a flashback of Ned Stark, Sean Bean, maybe Khal Drogo again. I think we're going to see some of those people. I think we could see a flashback of Ned again. That would be awesome. No flashbacks of Stannis Baratheon. Boo hoo. Oops. Sorry. Am I Stannis hating again? My bad. Carol Brown says Arya is so marrying Gendry. White Robert Ned, no. No headless Ned. Stutley Constable, will there be a callback to stick them with the pointy end? And glad to be back after 12-hour ships. Hype and love. Stutley, glad to have you back. Yeah, there could be. There could be. Definitely. I think Arya and Jon are going to fight alongside each other. I mean, they're two of the best fighters that are left, or warriors. So. Oh my goodness. Catherine has made another donation. Catherine, you let me know and we'll put someone on the wall hype for you. Do you think that the time loop will happen again in the TV show? I hope we don't get a lost time travel scenario. Yeah. The most likely thing I could see happening is, Catherine, there's this really interesting theory that I heard about where Bran has failed time traveling 3 times. The one time where he went back to the Children of the Forest. Sorry, the first time was the Mad King. Second time was the Children of the Forest. And the third time was when he worked into the Night King. So it could be possible that that is what's going on. There's this paradox where Bran's consciousness is in the Night King. I don't know. That's the only thing that I could possibly see. But I do think there will be some time travel shenanigans. I don't think like it was all a dream type of thing will happen, but there could be some ambiguity at the end of the story that might piss some people off. I'm not ruling that out at all because they are saying that it's an unexpected ending. So I don't know. Catherine, I'm hopeful that there is no time travel loop bullshit, but I don't know. It's definitely possible that it happens. I mean, we can expect anything to happen at this point because we don't know what's going on in the books. But Catherine, let me know if you want me to nominate someone to put on the wall of hype. Actually, you know what? Let's put Stutley on the wall of hype. Stutley hasn't been here in a while. Just gonna do this. Let's put Stutley on the wall of hype. Longtime supporter of the channel. Put Stutley up there. Catherine, do you have a nomination for the wall of hype? Well, let's put AK up there. Has AK been on the wall of hype yet? AK's awesome. Alicia Kingston, now on the wall of hype. Catherine, did you? To the window, to the wall. Yeah. We put Alicia Kingston up there. Ugh. Alicia is one of the hypest, so we had to put her up there. Nicola, will the books have a different ending from the show? Yeah, I do think that there will be some differences. And I do think that, but like, for example, if Dany dies in the show, she's not going to die in the book. I don't see that happening. I think that, the ending is going to be very similar. And Art Girl, I don't think I could put another wall up. This took me, this wall to install, I don't need a way too much time. Okay. I think that's going to be the only wall of hype. But, we're going to probably, I don't know, that's this side over here is for the Patreon Hall of Hype for everybody that's donated $20 or above on Patreon a month. So there's that. That's going to stay there. But this side, well, the trips are probably going to stop for a while after WorldCon and DragonCon because that's getting quite pricey. We got Stephanie. We'll put Stephanie on the wall of hype. She made a donation to the GoFundMe. Thank you, Stephanie. Steph M. Thank you so much for that. Really, really appreciate that. The original David Adams. Oh my goodness. PJ of Ice and Fire. He's already on our Hall of Hype. So PJ, you want to know? Actually, is original David Adams up there? Original David Adams. You're going up right meow. OTDA, the one true original David Adams. PJ. King McKay, what's going on? By the way, everyone, I did make the announcement earlier. Me and King McKay in half an hour. It's not going to be live, but we are recording a Vikings podcast for you guys. It'll be our second one together. So, holy crap. You guys are nuts today. Beautiful dirt. I'm running out of space here. You guys just want to check out my butt. Oh, there we go. All right. Oh my goodness. All right. So let's get back to the chat. Let's talk a little bit more about the long night though, because we talked mostly about the Empire of Ash, and we got about 15 minutes before I go record with King McKay. So, what do we think about the long night? Because obviously we got. Actually, you know what? Let's go bring up the original document of what it says. Game of Thrones. Prequel. And then we'll read it all together and kind of go over all the different parts. We'll go over the short description that they have for it. All right, let's share this. Close this down. Have like 17 different windows open. You guys. You guys are hilarious. Now that's Otilla. Otilla and original David Adams are a little bit different. Okay, Amy, thanks for coming. We're gonna go talk a little bit about the long night here. I got a screen cap with you. Not being very good at this. All right, so the long night. Let's go over this again. Here's the overview. So HBO has officially ordered that it's supposed to be set 8,000 years before the War of the Five Kings. But here's what it says. Taking place thousands of years before the event of A Game of Thrones, the series chronicles the world's descent from the golden age of heroes into the darkest hour. And the only one thing is for sure, from the horrifying secrets of Westeros' history to the true origin of the White Walkers, the mysteries of the East to the Starks of legend, it's not the story we think we know. So, I mean, this seems to imply that there's a big time twist with the White Walkers, obviously. I mean, I think that the Night King is Brandon of the Bloody Blade, personally. There's many theories out there that, Bran is in the Night King's body, or he's Brandon the Builder, or the 13th Lord Commander. There's all of that. But the Starks of legend, that's got to mean Bran the Builder, right? I mean, the building of the wall and all of that, that's got to be the thing, right? Thank you so much, PJ, by the way. And don't ever apologize. You don't need to pay because you're late. That's absurd. Oh, Jane Goldman, Alicia, not to be crass. That's cool. So there was another rumor for another prequel that there is going to be the Rise of Khal Drogo, but that one got That one got canned. But Q&A, what characters do you think we'll see? I think we can see Bran the Builder for sure. I think we could see some sort of Children of the Forest queen. I mean, is Leaf that person? Do they bring Leaf back? That'd be interesting because we've kind of already connected with Leaf a little bit. Do we get like ancient like the first ever three-eyed raven? That'd be kind of cool. You know what'd be really interesting too is that if the Night King was a former three-eyed raven, it would make sense because of his abilities. So I don't know. Yeah, but apparently there was another series called The Rise of Drogo. I don't know how much I like that one as compared to the other ones, but I would like to know Leaf's history. Leaf would be an interesting character, especially getting to the culture of the Children of the Forest because they see life differently than we do. You know, the streams, the blades of grass, the leaves, everything is sentient and alive to them. Those are the gods of the Children of the Forest that they worship. And obviously seeing the White Walkers, if there's like a castle in the lands of Always Winter, or the beginning process of them becoming White Walkers, they still have some human in them, and then we see kind of that transformation from human to dehumanization. That'd be nuts, right? King McKay, let's put him on the holopipe. But that's what I would love to see is, kind of their transformation process of, because we saw what was happening with Benjen. He was going to be, I mean, the Children of the Force magic stopped it, but they aren't able to speak and they're communicating through symbols and obviously what they're doing. So that is kind of something that interests me that I think that they could pull off too. And that would be such an interesting form of acting, the way you have to emotionally show what is going on, because you can't fully speak or express yourself in a way that you truly would. Thanks for joining, John. See you later, my man. But I think that is, yeah, Stephanie, House Gardner, Garth the Green Hand was said to, be the father of many different houses in Westeros. Lan the Clever, how did he become so clever and become the monarch of House Lannister? All of that. Durin's God's Grief, the Grey King, all of those characters. But also the humanization of these legends, seeing that they were just people like Jon Snow, Ned Stark, Brienne of Tarth, Robert Baratheon. They were people that were flawed as well, because we look at them and they're like, these people that were extremely successful in what they accomplished. So wow, you guys are so hyped today. I love it. And the donations are nuts today. Like, wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. But yeah, those are kind of some of the things that I would look forward to in the long night. Obviously, and then the Maesters, like, people who are recording history. Obviously, they said the secrets and history of Westeros were not what we think they are. So, what the hell was going on with that? Who hid this information? Why was it hidden? All of these things need to be answered. Yeah, seeing who the Night King is like my number one thing. Rise of Mance Rayder would be cool. Yeah. I don't think it's as strong as having when it comes to thrones, like the world building aspect of it, the Empire of Ash and the Long Night, like you already got planted seeds for the Long Night, right? We need to know more because we're kind of seeing the second Long Night happen now. So, but in the Empire of Ash, we got bits of history, but it's like to completely build that and then do it is just something that's amazing, I think. Yeah, the rise of Drogo was apparently another one that they were talking about. I don't know. I don't think the other ones were ever spoke of. The other options, there's two more that were at least spoke of. I don't know which one Brian Cogman was attached to, but I think there's 6 prequels. I think they added one, but hell, I'll watch anything Thrones. I'll give anything Game of Thrones a chance. I I tell this story to a lot of people. I watched the first season of Game of Thrones in one night in one sitting. So I learned to love Ned Stark and I learned to lose Ned Stark in the same night. So yeah. So some series could be like mini series, like Rise of Drogo could be like a season or two or something like that. You know what I mean? But like the Empire of Ash could be 5 seasons. The Long Night could be like 5 to 7 seasons. You know what I mean? Cogman was attached to the Rise of Drogo. Okay, he'd be great for that. Thanks, Alicia. Have a good one. The Rise of Davos Seaworth. Yeah, Brian Cogman is fantastic. Whichever Tina Huff says, whichever prequel we get, I want spiders as big as hounds. Ice spiders. Yeah, I'm down for that. Gemma always bugs me about that. Okay, everyone. So I have to go record with Mr. King McKay. I'm going to be recording a Vikings podcast. That's going to be really fun. I really, really appreciate everyone coming out today. But I think King, maybe we should do a little throne something for everyone soon. You want to come on? You want to come on the channel maybe Thursday or next Sunday? And we'll have King McKay on the channel, and we can kind of, because King McKay did come on our Fire and Blood one. But who wants to see King McKay here on the channel? How about that? I'm throwing it out there. Yes. All right. King McKay has agreed. Everyone, thank you so much for all your generosity today. It was really, really fun discussing uh, discussing all of this stuff with you. Of course, if you do want to become a patron of the channel, like Carol spoke of earlier, you can find the link to that in the description of this video, www.patreon.com/AzorHype, or if you type in AzorHype in the search bar there. You can find me on Twitter at AzorHype, on Facebook at AzorHype, on Instagram at AzorHype. Message me, say what's up, let's chat. I'll chat with anyone. I'll talk Thrones anytime, life, pretty much anything. And yeah, I look forward to bringing some Vikings stuff for you. We're gonna break down the San Diego Comic-Con podcast. We're working on the second channel, the Marvelous channel, the separate from Game of Thrones. The Azor Hype channel will always stay Thrones. We're gonna do a Marvel channel here on the channel, and that's gonna do it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. And you know how I have to end this. Hype and love.